Second place is the number one loser. Hello and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. This is your home on the web for honest, no-hype insights, advice, and inspiration to help you sell more, faster, at higher margin with less stress and more fun. When I got out of the Air Force in 1997, I had a wife, a baby, another one on the way, and I had to put food on the table, which meant I had to be productive. I had to be efficient. I had to be successful at making sales, and I was. Over the next decade, I continued to succeed in various industries across the country, even across the world, which led me in 2006 to starting the Sales Whisperer. Since then, I have built a big business and a big family, and I have fed my family, provided for them based on my own skills, my hard work, my dedication, my insight. And now I give you this podcast as a free tool to help you learn what I have learned over 20 plus years. Another free tool that you can use to grow your sales is available over at thebestsalessecrets.com. Head on over there, and it's over 21 pages of advice, things including the 7 keys you need to apply to win at sales, how to look at money, and the true purpose of the sale. So again, head on over to thebestsalessecrets.com for that free tool. And now on to the show. Brian Horn of Authority Alchemy, fellow Texan, but I mean, you're a lot more buff than me, man. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
I've been following your exploits, getting into shape, and we're going to talk about all kind of stuff. Talk about your boy and what you're doing there to further his cause, and talk about SEO and being authority and everything. So for those that don't know you, though, would you mind take a minute or two, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll dive down the rabbit hole?
Absolutely. Yeah. As I said, my name's Brian Horn. My company right now is Authority Alchemy. We help brands help companies build up their brand by leveraging media.
Okay.
And we've created a whole little cottage industry within marketing that we call authority marketing. Prior to that, I did SEO for quite a while. I was the SEO guy for people like Dan Kennedy and Ryan Dice. A bunch of other people in the info marketing space was really the niche that I served. I'm in Texas. I'm married. I've got a 5-year-old boy, a 3-year-old girl, and very into fitness now. I've really recently gotten into MMA and Muay Thai. As a guy in your mid-40s starting off and that kind of stuff is kind of unusual, and it takes some good hits every now and then. But I absolutely love it now. I love getting out there and throwing down and getting out the aggression a couple times a week.
Well, it reminds me, I'm 45, and Toby Keith's song "Ain't as good as I once was," or ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I noticed it takes me longer to warm up and longer to recover.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know. Still, there's a little fight left in this dog.
Yeah.
So, and I met you online at least, started following you when you were doing your SEO thing. Can you, this is kind of good timing because I'm working on a talk I'm delivering at Entrepalooza in late October on SEO. Are there some little nuggets, some SEO tips you could give our listeners before we get into PR and celebrity and authority?
Yeah, I guess one thing I'll tell you, this is not really an SEO tip to get things ranked, but it's just something that's overlooked all the time, is really focusing on getting ranked well for your name, or having the proper things ranked for your name and your company. And that's something that a lot of people just overlook. And it's really an important piece of it, because when you are at the last stages of doing business with you, after you already found you, they're researching, or they've possibly talked to you, and they're at the last stage. I'm going to just see what's up with this Brian Horn character before I make a decision versus him and this other guy. Let me just do a little research, and they'll go to Google, look you up, and it's good to have things other than just your social media profiles or your website where it's always you talking about you. If you can get some other things where it's other people talking about you, it becomes very, very powerful. And that's going to lead into some of the stuff we'll talk about later that we're doing with getting books published for people, getting them quoted in other articles or getting news releases, media stuff. So that's a big piece of what we do. And that's pretty much how I transitioned from doing SEO to doing more of this type of stuff. It was a natural progression, but that's where it happened.
Do you think in the world of SEO, do you think the search engines are just getting so smart now that it's very hard, or at least very expensive, which equates to very hard, to really game the system anymore? And we're finally getting to where people that are authentic and really add value are finally being rewarded?
Yeah, it has gotten to that point. There's still certainly ways to do that. One of the things that's working really well right now is almost like gaming the suggested search, but you have to have either a way where you can pay people to go in and type up certain terms and find your site, click through your site, take actions on your site, be on your site for a little bit, and do opposite things to sites that rank ahead of you. And you have to do that thousands and thousands of times. So unless you really have your cost per lead nailed down and you have a person who really knows what they're doing, it becomes very, very difficult to do SEO for more competitive type terms. It's not like it used to be. It used to be when I first started, way back, even before 2000, it was incredibly easy. You could stick some words on a page. When I first started off, that's really all it took was all on-page stuff, and then it got to where you needed some other links into your site. You could go out and pay for those or do some creative things to get more links back. Then it got into some social signaling, got to do some press release stuff. And then it just got, as you said, they got more intelligent, smarter about it to the point where it was not worth it for me to do it, because I knew when I was doing it, I could not give people their, they couldn't get an ROI in what I was doing in most cases, because it cost so much to do that. And it just wasn't worth it for them. So that's when I slowly started to move out of SEO.
Right. Gotcha. That makes sense. If you were me and you're giving a talk on SEO, what would you do then? Because I feel like it's going to be a 2-minute talk. Just be honest.
Yeah, I would say go more into the reputation marketing and reputation management side of it, where you're really focusing on having good stuff for your name and your company name, or brand names, or other type of products that you have, and focusing on that, because those are more specific things, and you can still do some SEO stuff on those, and you have those show up.
Okay,
good. So that's the biggest thing. If you're trying to rank for more keyword type stuff, it's so hard. It's really almost not worth it. You're better off just using that money for paid advertising, or getting yourself in social media, doing some social media ads.
Right. So, all right. When I hear reputation management, I always think of keeping an eye out on things when somebody starts to flame you or gives you a 1-star review on Yelp. But I got to imagine you get into a lot more detail than just that, huh? Yeah.
And going to this, kind of what I said about having those good results. So, for instance, something we did. We have a client that's I can go to his name here. We did some. Actually, we'll not use any names just to make sure. We have probably the most well-known internet marketer in the world. So I probably can guess who that is.
Okay.
But he had some results in Google that were not good from a big news story that came out that he was involved in, and needed some help getting that moved out of the way. So I was able to, we're able to put out some good articles on some larger sites like the Huffington Post and some CBS, ABC, Fox affiliate stations, and then do basic SEO stuff on those for his name, and get those pushed up in front of the negative stuff. So it was nothing about gaming a system or trying to get a whole bunch of new traffic returns to get new leads and new customers in. It was simply putting out other controlled news stories or positive, and then doing what we could do to make sure those showed up high by, pushing those out to, pushing those to fans of his, getting them to take action on it, and things like that would push that result up in Google. So that's where we're really doing a lot of stuff right now.
Well, so it just kind of rolls off your tongue, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like LeBron James say, okay, when there's 7 seconds left in the game, what you want to do is inbound it to me. You want to, dribble behind your back 7 times, through your legs, over your neck, and then slam dunk on top of 3 players, and you'll win the game. So, I mean, how do you get? I've never been published on HuffPo or ABC or anything like that. So how does a mere mortal make that happen?
That is the LeBron trick. Those are not things that anybody can just jump out and do. But I'll tell you a way you can. There's two ways to go about it. It all comes down to 2 things. Whatever you have more of, do you have more time or do you have more money?
Okay.
If you have the money, there's plenty of consulting people that are consultants that can pitch you to other writers. For places like Huffington Post or Inc., Forbes, New York Times, that can pitch you and get somebody to do a story about you or get you to quote you in a story. We do that type of work. That's one of the things that we will pitch you different places. But then you're relying on somebody else's network of contacts and knowing how the industry works, what those people feel right about, helping come up with a story idea that will be good on those networks and the editors there will like and will approve. Mm-hmm. The other option is, if you have more time than money, is leveraging the power of what's known as citizen journalism. And that's really exploded the last couple of years. It's been on for about 3-4 years, ever since the Arab Spring. I remember the exact year that started. That's when the whole citizen journalism really started taking off. Okay. What that is, it's news outlets, because of the internet, and they have unlimited space to put content, are opening the doors to let anybody or almost anybody, certainly more people, publish content on their internet sites or digital sites. For CNN, for example, the CNN network only has 24 hours a day to push news on their cable channel. They can publish 10, 20, 100, 1,000, a million times that on the internet, because it really costs nothing to have a news story on a website, a page on the website.
Right.
Everybody's doing this now. There's all kinds. Like I write for Entrepreneur Magazine. None of my stuff ever makes it into a magazine, but it's on their website. Sure. I'm a contributor. There's a lot of contributors for Entrepreneur. There's a lot for Inc. There's a lot for Forbes. There's a lot for Fast Company. What you can do, you can go through and look at contributors that have written about things that you want to write about, either your expertise or if you're doing it for a client, for your client's area of expertise. Find ones that are writing every single week that you may need fresh ideas for content, or what I've liked to do is reach out to people that have published regularly for a while but then stopped and maybe haven't published anything in the last 3 or 6 months, and you have to keep publishing those places to keep your account there. So those people are wanting to keep their account, most likely. They're just stuck for ideas. So if you can reach out to that person and say, hey, I have a great idea for an article for you. It's about X. And I have a perfect person that's an expert on that. If you just give them a couple quotes in there, I can hook you up with an article that's already written, ready to go. You can just put your spin on it, or clean it up yourself and publish it. And we'll have a deal. And you'll be able to find some of those. Now, the deal with that is it's going to take you a while to go through, find the right targeted people. Then you have to go back and locate them, because they're not going to have their contact information on those sheets. You have to go back and find their website with their email, or connect with them on social media and get to them that way. It's going to take you several tries or several people to reach out to find somebody that will respond to you, and then working out a deal with them is going to knock out some people. So it's going to take you a lot of work. Right. So it really just depends on if you have the time to do that, or if you'd rather just pay pay somebody to have somebody do all that for you and have it guaranteed, and do it fast. You can get it done in in a couple of weeks.
Right. Gotcha. So I would pitch somebody to kind of light their fire, if you will, get their creative juices flowing, get them to quote me, maybe even extensively. They can add a little context around it, and that way it's still their article, but I can say I've been published in the Huffington Post or Entrepreneur Magazine.
Yeah, well, in that case, you'd be quoted in there. So you wouldn't be published, but you'd be quoted in there. And depending on which site it is, some are very strong SEO-wise. Huffington Post is insanely strong. You can rank anything with Huffington Post. So you could, if you do that, you're quoted in there. You can put a couple links to it, do some social media tags with your name, and it's going to start ranking for your name pretty quickly.
Right. All right.
And so then what will happen is you will have your that'll be one of the results that would show up in a Google search result for your name. So they're going to see, okay, there's his website, there's his Twitter profile. Oh, what's this? Here's an article in Huffington Post that it's talking about him. They brought him as the expert on sales, so he must be the real deal in sales above this other two guys I'm considering, and that would be what would make you stand out.
Right. So if I'm just quoted in that, I guess they would still link to me?
They may not link to your website, but it's not the point is not even get traffic to your website, because those places just don't deliver a whole lot of traffic, and that the whole goal in what we're doing is not to get traffic; it's for that positioning. Like last year, I was on the Howard Stern show, which has 6 to 8 million listeners a day, just a huge show. It has as many people listen to that as listen to Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon combined. Huge. Yeah. We had a trickle of people that actually, that came to our website from that, right. And even smaller percentage that actually opted in and became part of our list, and even a smaller percentage of that actually bought something from us. But now, before I go on stage to speak somewhere, they go, here's Brian Horn. He was on Howard Stern asked him to come on the show because he's asked to talk about personal branding. That carries all the weight in the world when you got one of the most the most famous radio broadcaster of all time, one of an A-list celebrity, here's about somebody and ask them to come on their popular show. It carries a lot of weight. You use that as leverage. Same thing with if you were quoted in Entrepreneur. That's where the power is. It's not that you would get a bunch of traffic from that article.
Right. So that's the big thing, right? I want to make sure everybody understands is that. And I'll bring up Yelp because I mentioned this before. I don't know, 2 months ago, I think I have a handful of Yelp reviews ever. And I got my one and only 1-star review by this dude that, of course, we cut a tremendous deal to, right? Anytime you cut a deal to somebody, they stab you in the back.
Absolutely.
But if we can get listed or quoted or what have you on 3 or 4 or 5 big sites like ABC, Entrepreneur Magazine, and then you go Google Wes Schaefer, then it would push that negative 1-star review maybe it's result number 10, maybe it's result number 11, so it's on page 2, which most people will never, ever see, right?
Right.
Okay. Very nice. So it's a lot of either elbow grease or grab the wallet and make it happen.
Yep, absolutely. That's just one of the those are the options for getting featured those big places like that for sure.
Right. So you make the switch. Now, what about somebody that maybe they're a little newer in business and they need the traffic and they need to make the sales? And I've seen this over the years where I've seen people on the speaking circuits at these different conferences, but people don't realize, when you're doing a breakout session, you're not getting paid for that thing. Right. At best, you got a free ticket to the event. 1 out of 10 may actually pay some travel or pay for the hotel, but that's it. So at a minimum, they're just not spending any money to be there, but most aren't even making any money. So how can people get traffic and bump their sales quickly, doing this type of authority marketing?
Yeah, with the whole authority stuff, we really don't focus on traffic that much. One of the things that we have found is that most people have enough traffic right now. They have enough people that are looking at them. The problem they have is that people aren't choosing them. And that's a lot. That's what we really focus on is getting more people to choose you. Because you'd be surprised. Every time somebody comes through one of our, we have we call them 60-day sprints that we take people through, where we do a whole series of authority positioning stuff. We don't give them any more traffic. We don't put them in front of any new people, but they always get a lot of new clients, or get enough of more new clients in that 6 days than they've gotten in the last 6 to 8 months or even a year. Okay. Because people are watching them. There's so many people right now each person listening to this that are looking at you and have been looking at you for a while, but that you just don't stand out to them. And that's all you need to do is just something to jump out and make you stand out. It's kind of like when you're driving down the road, you pass a bunch of restaurants. After you're driving down the same road enough days, you just become blind to all those different restaurants. Right. But when one has some big event or something, or new sign or something changes about it that's different than it has been, it jumps out at you and you notice it again. Yep. And that's like what we do. We do things to make people notice you again and make you stand out for a long time.
Now, how do you overcome the issues that are beyond your control in that case? Specifically, that you help them stand out, but their website sucks, or they don't have a clear call to action. I mean, how do you package your offerings so that people come in, and I always use the analogy, I can get you a lot of traffic at a restaurant, right? But if your restaurant, if your chef is terrible and the wait staff is slow, and the orders are wrong, and it's overpriced, people aren't going to come back. So where do you, because you could it's almost like once you get in, you can almost never get out because there's so many things that still need to be done, So how do you help them in that case when the site's bad, no clear call to action, but you're still making them famous?
Yeah, and that's an issue. Some people, when they come to us, a lot of us will think they're not ready for it for one reason or the other. But if somebody cannot look their clients in the eye, their prospects in the eye, and say, I can help you with that. I'm ready to actually help you. I can do the work I say, and I can make a difference in your business or for whatever service we're providing. If they can't say that and we don't feel they can do that, we don't take them on. Because that's the one thing we don't have control over. Now, the issue we run into more than that is people that are absolutely ready, that have that great service they can deliver. They've got the ability to take a email address from their website or get on a phone with somebody, and that's really all it takes. Right. Is that they don't feel confident enough in themselves and that they're ready. They keep wanting to push it off and be a when I'm ready person. Right. Fix it. We call them fixing to people. They're always fixing to do something. That's Texas speak. It's always on the horizon. One more thing they have to do before they're actually ready to start doing that. And it's just letting them know, okay, you're ready right now. You just got to quit stalling, put yourself out there, and get start getting some business because you're ready to help some people. Right. Would you say more people are more ready than they realize? Yes. Yes, and by a large margin. That's the biggest problem by far we run into is people that will come, they think they aren't ready because of something. And it could be something as simple as like you mentioned website, their website's not perfect yet. Right. But yet they are, let's say it's a fitness person, and they've in the last year they've helped out of 20 clients, 18 of them have gotten incredibly fit and are sticking with them and paying really high fees because they do so good. They go, well, I don't feel comfortable enough to put myself out there because I've not done this yet, or I haven't been asked to speak at one of the big circuit events yet, so I really can't go out there and call myself a authority and do a book and actually be quoted somewhere because I got to do this other part first. Right. We run into that more than anything. Yeah, much of I always say that they're too busy majoring in the minors, huh? Absolutely. Very nice. And so you wrote a book, right? The Authority Mindset. Yeah. And that was just in the last year, right? Yeah, I think it was last year. And is it a compilation? Did you get a bunch of experts to just contribute a chapter? Yeah, well, it was a little different. Me and my partner Jack Mize wrote it. We got some other people to chime in and put their 2 cents in also in certain parts of it.
Right. And that just helps you publish faster, right? And so you didn't have to do all the work?
Well, we did both. We did the writing, but it's more of just to get other people's thoughts and get some other points of views in there, because everybody's different. Some of the people we brought in focus on different aspects of authority marketing. They're experts within certain segments of authority marketing. We got them to comment on those pieces.
Mm-hmm. What can people do, that are bootstrapping it? Because I know the common misperception is, if you build it, they will come. If I have great content, blah, 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 people are going to find me.
Right.
But that's just not the case, is it? I mean, they need to reach out and network. I mean, it's like old school selling, right? I mean, make a phone call even. I mean, reach out to somebody, make a connection, build a relationship to help get picked up, right?
Yeah, I think one of the best things people can do is what we're doing right now, is being on podcasts. Because there's so many podcasts in very specific verticals. Every niche has quite a few different ones, and it's not like a radio show or TV show where there's limited airspace. They can interview as many people as they want, and are usually looking for interesting people. So if I would tell a person to go and try to get booked on as many different podcasts as possible. Nothing is too small. Just get out there, start being interviewed, and what you need to do is develop what we call your micro specialization. So you don't want to be the sales guy, or you don't want to be the fitness expert. You want to drill it down very specifically, where instead of being like the fitness expert, you want to be the nutrition consultant to women that have just given birth to get their pre-baby figure back. And that's all that you do. And instead of me being like the online marketing guy, my one thing, all we do is help people develop their authority positioning.
Okay.
That's it. We don't do traffic. We don't do any of that other stuff. That's all we do. Just be very, very specific. So get very niche down on what you offer and who you're offering it to, because we really just deal almost exclusively with people in the coach, consultant, and solopreneur market.
Right.
We do other stuff, but that's really who we target.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, I know you got to run, but I wanted to talk real quick about your son. You've been very inspirational, very vocal. He's 5 years old now?
Yep, 5 years old, just started kindergarten.
All right, just started kindergarten. So he's got Down syndrome, but you've been, like I said, very inspirational about, hey, everybody, he isn't contagious. This isn't something weird. God made him this way, and he's beautiful. So can you talk a little bit about how that has impacted your life and how it's impacting how you grow your business and approach everything?
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy trip, because we didn't know until a couple of days after he was a few days after he was born. We really didn't care, so we don't want to do the invasive tests. We wouldn't have changed our decision if we had him or not anyway. So we said it's really not wasn't worth having the amnio or whatever they're called. So when he was born, still had no idea. Then he stopped breathing on the second day, and they had to put him in NICU for a while, and started doing some tests and came back shortly after that. But it definitely changed the way I look at a lot of things, because he has to work a lot harder at everything he does. I am beforehand, and I'm still not. Patience is not one of my strong points, but he's certainly trained me to be more patient and just laid back, and also just relax about stuff and realize things aren't as big of a deal as we like to make them out. Because I literally thought that was going to be the end of the world for us. And the funny thing is that the first things I thought of was that we're not going to be able to go out and eat in restaurants anymore, because people are going to stare at him and be a scene, and we won't be able to go on family vacations. Those are for whatever reason, the first two things that I thought of. Mm-hmm. And it's a very common thing in that when people find out, that's one of the things, dads particularly, one of the first things they think of. And anyway, fast forward, even a few months, it was no big deal at all. And now 5 years later, I mean, it's absolutely nothing. We have a 3-year-old daughter who's typical, and the difference in the raising the two of them is very, very small. I mean, he's still really not he's pretty nonverbal, but outside of that, it's really not that different. So you just kind of realize all the things you place such importance on, and that you think would be so challenging, are really just yourself getting in the way.
Right.
And it's been really good to be able to take the cards we were dealt and do something really special with it. I mean, I've had social media posts about him that have been shared 30,000 plus times, and he's been in the Huffington Post. He's been in Entrepreneur, been in Fox, been in E. So there's Perez Hilton. So there's been, all kind of websites have done stories about him based on, social media posts that have been, other articles that have written, have really spread the word. Like you said, the Down syndrome was not that big of a deal. And that's what I feel his purpose is, and what mine is to really help spread that message, which we're living in a great time for that. It is changed so much just in the period of time he's been here, and certainly the last 10 years or so, the acceptance of kids and adults, just people with special needs, is not the way it was back when we were going to high school. They were in their own little area, right, and not include anything. Now he's in the regular classes. He goes out for an hour or hour and a half a day. He spends in a classroom that's more focused on helping him learn stuff that he needs to. Right. But the rest of it, he's right there with everybody else.
Yeah, cool. And do you find, are the kids pretty accepting? They just kind of roll with it?
Yeah, and he has 5 right now, so most of them, up until now, I don't think they even noticed a difference. Now they are noticing a difference, and teachers talk to them, but they're very accepting. They just, typical kid things. Like they don't want him to. Some of them get nervous when he comes over if they're building something with blocks, because he likes to kick it over, so they know he's going to be one to knock the stuff over. So they go, "No, Jackson, don't come over here." But other than that, they're very very accepting of him, and the girls particularly, because he's so little. He's smaller than his 3-year-old sister, so the girls very much like to have him be the little baby of the class and like to take care of him and stuff. But right. People are much nicer when you see when kids get older, like junior high, high school, you see the ones that are getting voted for prom king and king. So it's very different now. They really realize that they're different, but they're going to be cool to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you created a website or anything for him, or do you have any type of?
No, not really. I have his the domain names for his name. If I want to do something later on, I've done stuff when I've raised money for charities in his name, but nothing up permanently. Nothing I'm doing right now.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I'm following you, man. So
cool. You will see it.
I will be the first to pitch in when you do it. So where can people find you on the web? Where should we send folks?
Yeah, best place is just go to authorityalchemy.com.
Very nice. And
what we'll do is we'll put a link in this show page. We have one. Let me see. It's I don't remember the name of it. It's a link to a free video training we put together for just people that I interview with that shows how to set up an account to be a contributor at CNN using their citizen journalism pages on there. We can set up and we tell you where it is, what they're looking for, how to write stuff that gets accepted and published there and stays up and is liked by the community. Okay. And so just by doing that, you will be a contributor to CNN on X topic. So if you want to do yours on sales, you are a weekly contributor to CNN on sales. Right. Boom. It sounds really good. It gives you some of that authority positioning. But I'll get you that link, Wes, so you can put that up for everybody.
Well, very cool, man. Brian Horn, Authority Alchemy. Thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
All right, man. Have a great day. There you have it. I heard the saying a while back that people do not do business with you for one of 2 reasons. Either they haven't heard of you or they have. So if it's the latter, I can't help you there. But if it's the former, go go back, listen to this podcast. Go to thesaleswhisperer.com/session 147. Scroll down to the links mentioned, and I've got the link there for the free report that Brian mentioned, how to become that citizen journalist, get content put up into CNN. And you have to become a marketer, a promoter. You've got to, I've heard numbers kicked around. I say 90-10 when I was talking with Michael Hyatt about a year ago. He says, maybe a little less on the promotion side, but he agrees, that 90-10 is 10% product creation, 90% promotion. Derek Halpern, Social Triggers, he's mentioned, the 80-20 rule, kind of following the same concept. But you have to promote yourself a lot more than you think you do and a lot more than you are now. That's the nature of the beast. Create epic content and then promote the heck out of it. You heard me? That'll do it for today's show, but the learning and the doing now follows. If you would like my help to implement what needs to get done, help you identify what needs to get done and the best path and the best vehicles to use to accelerate down that path, please head on over to thesaleswhisperer.com/IPA. There you will see an overview of what I call my initial process assessment. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. But, like they say, I'd rather spend more than I wanted to than less than I should to grow my business. So if you need some help, if you'd like me one-on-one to help, again, please head on over to thesaleswhisperer.com/IPA. And as always, remember to sell different.